Teaching in December is hard. There's so much you have to do and your students are super wound up. But you still need to have them do their very best, even if they're writing at your independent writing center. My name is Rachel Hull. I have 10 exciting writing activities for your students to do at their writing centers this month. And as I show you each activity, I'm going to tell you how you can differentiate it for your different writing skills in your classroom. The first one is a puppet. Now, it may seem strange to put a puppet at a writing center, but trust the process. What your students can do is choose a word card from your pocket chart and then write the word and then feed the card to the hungry puppet. It just adds a really fun interactive element to your writing center. For differentiation, your students can either just write one word if that's what they're capable of doing. When they're ready to write full sentences, they can use a different piece of paper and then write a sentence about the word before they feed it to the puppet. Let's talk about those word wall words. You can put them in a pocket chart or hang them on a clothesline. It's up to you. Either way, it's a really good way to show your students some topics that they can write about or some new Christmas vocabulary for your students who need to build up their vocabularies. If you don't have room for a pocket chart or the clothesline with little clips, it's cute, it's Pinteresty. But if you don't have room for that, you can use the same exact word wall words, except for in a vocabulary poster. I like to put mine in this clear plastic display case. That way I can just switch it out each time. It's very easy and it can just sit on my writing center table and it's not going to get ruined. And again, this poster works the same way as the word wall cards do. It helps build vocabulary and gives your students topics to write about. I always like to add a vocabulary mini book to my writing centers. This also helps them learn those new words. They can color the pictures, but also it has handwriting practice with the dotted lines and everything, so they can trace the words also. So this is great. It helps with vocabulary and handwriting. I always let my students use devices at their writing centers. It's a digital age, and so I do want them to be able to find a keyboard and type on there, as long as it's not the only form of writing you're doing. So we do have some Christmas digital activities as well. So if you go on Seesaw, your students can take the little magnifying glass to hunt for the word, and then they can write it above, and it's really fun. You can also add some paper and pencil activities with this. Now they can take that word and write some sentences or a story about that word. So you can add on to it. So it's not just a digital activity. And along with that, I like to put a lot of these Google Slide activities out, and my students can do a lot of different things with them. And again, you can add paper and pencil tasks along with this too. So your students will find the word and write it. Now, if that's where they're at in their writing journey, that's great, and we count that as a success. When they're ready, then they can take those slides and use them as writing prompts for new sentences or stories. Ever since I added a spinner to my writing center for my students to pick a topic, they've really wanted to go and use them. So here are some Christmas spinners you can use at your writing center. And just like everything else too, this helps take the pressure off of them to choose a topic. They can pick a topic with the spinner, and it just kind of helps them give them something to write about. You're not going to see them sit there and go, I don't know what to write about, because they're going to want to use the spinner to pick a topic. During the month of December, there are so many opportunities to learn how to write a letter. You can write a letter to Santa. You can write a letter to Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer, anything like that. It is harder for a student, a kindergarten or a first grade student, to write a letter, and it's not just because of the words they want to choose. They also have to learn the format. So definitely take a template and give that to them at your writing center. That way they're not trying to come up with how to format a letter while they're writing it. Let's make it a little bit easier for them and give them a template. One of my favorite things to add to my writing center is list making, especially around Christmas. There are so many great opportunities to do that. They can make a list of gifts they'd like from Santa or gifts they'd like to give to somebody. There's a lot of possibilities for lists. And then when your students are ready, they can maybe write a little bit more of a categorized list, like what's a list of things that the reindeer needs to make their trip, or what kind of ornaments do they have on their tree at home. Now this one might seem like a simple activity, but it really does pack a punch. So your students will read the word below and then color the picture and then either write the word or write the word in a sentence. So you can differentiate with that. If they are only able to write a word right now, they write a word, they feel successful. If they're ready to write a sentence, they'll write a sentence about it. So it's a really good way for them to show you what they're capable of doing. All of these activities are available at literacystations.com, and the link to it is in the description of this video. All the activities we talked about today are going to be included. Now this will be a writing center that you can use every year, and so it's worth the investment. And if you do need more Christmas writing ideas, if you look at the previous video that we just uploaded last week, you can check out some Christmas writing prompts that your students will love this year.